So if I arrive in the expo or something like that today, or tomorrow, okay. Oh, yeah.
And then you have to so you don't see people.
Maybe okay. I have to choose.
Okay, so good morning. So I hope that you have enjoyed yesterday's sessions and dinner. So now it's time for us to restart, and I would like to invite the speakers, first Fabrizio Lamberti, Professor Nuno Costa Carvalho, and Professor Stephen Lee to come here and do morning presentations related with the ICIR societies and the RPC activities. Fabrizio.
Looks familiar.
Because I don't see the slides here.
You don't see the slides. Okay. Let me just this for you. You have it here. Just in case. There you go.
So good morning, everyone, and well, thanks to Paolo and the team for inviting me to give this brief presentation of the digital reality. Basically, digital reality is the container of the conference, of the ICIR conference that was happening in a while. So I'm Fabrizio Lamberti, I'm from Politecnico di Torino, Italy. I represent also ICIR Consumer Technology Society, which is one of the societies who decided to invest in the digital reality technical community and in the conference. So the digital reality was an initiative launched in 2018 from IEEE Future Directions and Future Directions Committee, and they grouped together a number of societies and councils and units interested in this concept of digital reality. And in several years they developed a number of tools, and I will explain what are the assets developed by this group of volunteers. One of them is the conference that was initially held in 2021 and 2022 online only, and this year, with the support of Paolo and the other and his team, we have a chance to have it in person in Coimbra. Two web applications were developed. I will tell you a little bit about them, and a number of other contents like educational material, like courses, webinars, and stuff like that. At a certain point, at the end of the cycle, as the Future Directions initiative, the Future Directions and the Future Directions Committee came to CITSOC and asked it to take the lead to transition this initiative into a technical community. The acronym is ERTC. I put here some screenshots from the homepage of the IEEE Digital Reality initiative, and just to let you frame what are the key topics of this initiative. You see, they're talking about digital twins, augmented reality, metaverse, and of course ICIR, intelligent reality. So these are the topics. Since the end of 2022, Consumer Technology Society worked with a number of other societies, councils, and organizing units to handle this transition. Several MOUs have been signed with Communication Society, Council on RFID, Electronic Packaging Society, Electronic Medicine Biology Society, Reliability Society, Robotics and Automation Society, and Standard Association. So in case you are a member of one of these societies, and I will leave, of course, the floor to my colleagues who will talk about two of them, you are eligible to join this technical community for free. So, as I said, the focus, well, this is the field of interest. I tried to highlight some keywords. Digital transformation, as I said, is the main one, but the focus is on advances in technology, different technologies like sensors, actuators, AI, machine learning, extended reality, digital twins, and there are connections also with the new initiative by ICIR Future Directions on the Metaverse. I think that the topic of the digital reality is very up to date. This is the 2024 ICIR Technology Megatrends report, and three megatrends have been identified in this report that has been presented just 10-15 days ago. And one is digital transformation, and the other two are sustainability and artificial general intelligence. So I think we are perfectly aligned with the conference and the digital reality scope. And I tried to highlight some of the topics, some of the technologies that the trend, that the report on the technology megatrends highlighted. As you can see, they talk about autonomous technologies, autonomous robots, digital twins. So, and if you get back to the societies and councils that I mentioned, communication, robotics, reliability, electronic packaging, etc. So all these societies seems to be well represented in the scope of these megatrends. So since beginning of 2024, a steering committee has been set up, including the representative of all these 8 societies, councils and units, and we started meeting regularly. We started defining a roadmap for digital reality, defining priorities, doing some working groups. So the first thing that we put in the agenda was to have again the International Conference on Intelligent Reality, and we wanted to have it in person, and we succeeded, thanks to Paolo and his team. Consider that in the first edition there were just something like 10 contributions, in the second edition just 20 contributions, and this year we are around 50 or something like that. So I think it's a great success, and we can do much better because we just had a couple of months to organize the conference, so this is really amazing. We started talking about other possibilities like launching a journal. So we realized that there's a lack of publications in ICIR dealing with this topic like digital twins and metaverse-related technologies. So maybe this will not be the final title, but we have a lot of intent ready to launch this journal, to propose the launch of this journal. We started inviting the creator of the digital reality applications to discuss opportunities to further develop, exploit, and capitalize them. And we also started discussing new projects regarding standards. So for instance, we are working with the IEEE and NPI. It's behind NPI, there's Leonardo Chiarione, who is the inventor of MPEG, who is now standardizing AI and metaverse-related technology. So we're working on an implementation of that standard. So I think there are many things that can be done. One is the conference. It's a reality. It's not a digital reality, but it's a real reality. About the applications, so there are two applications that have been created. One is the Digital Reality Exchange. It's a kind of marketplace or matchmaking space where developers, companies, researchers working in the areas of digital reality can publish their initiative projects they are working on too, and they can search for colleagues, volunteers willing to help. And the other tool that has been created is named Knowledge as a Service. So this is something very interesting. I have a video, this is a very preliminary version, but this tool is basically connected to IEEE ontology. You can browse, maybe the video is not going, but no worries. You can browse the IEEE ontology, you can see a graphics visualization of the ontology, and you can describe yourself as an individual or as a company using the topic of IEEE ontology. And based on that, you can be redirected to TechNav, which is an IEEE application that allows you to access papers, educational content, standards, and stuff like that related to your areas of expertise, and can be used also to create personalized services. So we are working to extend this tool using conversational agents and stuff like that. I talked about education modules, so there are webinars, podcasts, learning modules, white papers, and other. And finally, there's a community. Actually, this community has been created several years ago. There are about 1,000 paid society members, subscribers, collaborative members, LinkedIn members, Twitter followers. So in case you are interested and you want to contribute, so one possibility is joining the community. You can go, when you renew your IEEE subscription, or you can simply decide to join the community, you can search the catalog of existing technical communities. Here you have your code with a direct link, and you can choose the digital reality. And of course, the other possibility is to drop an email to me or to the colleagues who are involved in the initiative, and we will put you in contact with other people in your societies that can tell you how to volunteer. Thanks again, and it's been a pleasure being here with you today.
Questions? No questions? Discussion?
So, good morning. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here. So I'm here representing the Council of RFID, and on behalf of Greg Durchin, our president, I want to give you a brief aspect of what is a council and what we do within IEEE. So what you see in this slide is our core team for this council, and if you are interested in collaborating in the council, we have open spots at this moment, so feel free to contact me or to contact Greg, and we'll be happy to include you in the voting process to be part of this interesting group. And before I move forward, I want to say that sometimes people that work on our fields, in different fields, don't volunteer to be part of IEEE activities, but I think it's a very good opportunity. It's a very good place to meet other persons. It's a very good platform to discuss with your colleagues and to discuss with people that have similar interests of yours. So don't be shy, and I'm talking only for the younger generation. Apply, and I believe you will probably be selected to do something, because we are always hungry for volunteers that want to contribute to IEEE. So, by the way, I'm in this council, I'm Associate Vice President for Conferences. So let me also say what is a council. So IEEE is divided into societies, and you have two societies here today, and councils also. So a council is an association, let's say, of common interest around a specific topic. And in the case of the Council of RFID, we are sponsored by all those societies that you see in this slide. So attendance and propagation, circuit systems, communication society, instrumentation and measurement, IT, SCS, intelligent transport systems, microgrid technology, and so on and so on and so on. So these societies actually sponsor the council, and if you are an IEEE member, you can join the council for free. So there are no society fee on the council. You can actually, when you renew your membership, you can click, I want to be part of this council, and you start to receive information from the council. The other thing also that you see on this slide, close to those societies, so the logos of the societies, you see Roman numbers there, which are 4, 1, 3, 2, and so on. These are called also the divisions in IEEE. So IEEE is also divided by different divisions that includes different societies. Well, on the Council of RFID, we cover a significant number of topics. And of course, most, as the name said, most of our activities are around RFID. But as you can see there are plenty of other interests. And on top, you have the conferences that we are going to sponsor next year. I will talk about that later on. And below, you have the 100% financial sponsored conferences from the council. So you have the IEEE RFID, the IEEE RFID techniques and applications, the RFID digital conference, and also the ORSS that I will talk in a moment. In the middle, you have the conferences that we share with other societies financially, and ICIR is there as one of these conferences, but there are plenty of others. And on the right side, you have the conferences that the council sponsors technically, but not financially. So it's mainly a way to share our activities and our goals, and you can see there some, I would say, interesting conferences on smart cities and also on wireless power transmission, on cyber-physical radio. Well, we have also teamed up with other societies for journals. The journal that the council owns 100% is the IEEE Journal on Radio Frequency Identification, and you can see there the editor-in-chief, Paulo Nepa. But we also contribute and we also participate with other societies in different journals. And what you see there in brackets is the percentage that the council has in each of those journals. One of the most recent journals that was approved actually 1 month ago is the IEEE Journal on Wireless Power Technologies that is going to be available on January 2027. So if you work on similar topics, I think during 2026 you can start sending papers to the journal. Well, the technical committees that we have on the council are quite broad. We have a council on motion capture and localization. We have a technical committee on digital twins and parallel intelligence. Actually, we team up with several groups around the world to have a conference on that field. We have a committee on energy harvesting systems. We have a committee on blockchain, on next generation RFID, and also on additive manufacturing electronic systems. This is a very big and growing area within our council and our societies associated with it. So, where we are seeing most growth on our council is definitely on the digital twin and parallel intelligence, which I think covered and crossed some of the interests of this conference. We also are seeing a significant increase on cyber-physical radio systems, combining different aspects of radio communications and harvesting. And we are seeing a significant increase, and we are pushing to have more undergraduate students engaged in our activities. So this IEEE or ORSS symposium, which is an undergraduate research symposium, is fully online, and if you have master students, PhD students, we would love to hear what they are doing. Even if they do a small activity in one of your courses in university, try to apply to this symposium. As I said, it's fully online, and it's mainly to increase the interest for our activities and our scientific results. So this is a quite successful group that we have at this moment. I only have 2 more slides. So this year we still have 1 conference to go. So our Wireless in Space and Extreme Environment Conference and RFID TA conference is going to be in Daytona Beach from 16 to 20 of December. Next year is going to be in Valence, France. So if you are interested in these topics, either sensors for space or RFID techniques, feel free to submit your papers. Well, this year the papers are no longer able to be received because the conference is less than 15 days from now. But next year in Valence it could be an opportunity for all. And next year we are going to have, this is wrong, it's not April 2024, it's April 2025. So next year we are going to have a significant number of conferences to be collocated in a single week, and it's going to be in Atlanta. So this includes IEEE RFID, IEEE additive manufacturing, IEEE digital transition, IEEE ORSS, cyber radio physical. So feel free to submit your papers to our conferences, and it's always a pleasure to have a community talking about common interests. So thank you very much. If you have any questions.
Good morning, everyone. So I would first like to thank Reza and Paulo for the great work to organize this conference. Any conference takes a lot of efforts with a lot of volunteer hours, so it's not just a few days. Actually, before that, we had a lot of hard work to put the program together, to get papers, so we know that, most of us here. And here I would just like to take this opportunity to share what is one other society under IEEE. As Nuno mentioned, IEEE has 2 basic operating units. If you say OU, they use a lot of acronym, so it represents operating units. So 2 basic operating units under IEEE is either society or council. So I think in council, they don't have individual members, but they have societies as members. But for society, we do have individual members. So you can become an IEEE member, or also you can join Rapid Society as a society member. So since 2 years ago when I took the president position, I reduced the fee from $35 US for society fee to $18 for professional, and students I think only $8. So it's very low. So you're welcome to join the Rapid Society. So maybe here also take this opportunity to introduce a little bit about organizational overview for ICIR2024, and you can see ICIR2024 has a lot of, is a very international organization. So you can see we have people from Italy, Portugal, and Mexico. I originally come from China. I'm in the US for about 15 years. So it's just something I like. It's a very international organization. If you get involved, there are a lot of knowledge, a lot of different disciplines, so you can learn. So and also to train your leadership skills for students especially. So we have publications, conference, education activities, standard. We know standard is very important, and also ICIR USA. That's basically how to communicate with government, how the government can understand the technology, so they can make decisions better to advance the humanity using technology. So because many times politicians they don't have a deep understanding what is technology, what is quantum computing, what is digital reality. So we need that's a part of our responsibility to communicate with government so they can invest for the future of technology. So that's ICIR USA. And standard is very important. We know that. Actually, this time I had a short trip. I forgot to bring my adapter. So if you don't have standard, you cannot charge your phone. So luckily I borrowed somebody's charger to charge my phone from the students. So standard is very important, right? And one of the very known standard is the wireless communication. So IEEE 802 ABC. If you use your Wi-Fi anywhere in your house or anywhere you need network, you need those standard. So people can communicate, technology can talk to each other. So and education, we need to know education is very important. That's why we have university, right? This is one of the oldest university, and publications, conference, all those kind of products. So and ICIR is a huge organization. Is Nuno talk about divisions. So different divisions, they have different societies, and also ICIR is organized under different regions. There are 10 regions, and globally the demographic is changing. For example, region 10 include most of the Asian countries and Australia, and ICIR is going to split that region to two, region 10 and region 11, because the most membership growth under region 10 is very fast. And they're going to combine region 1 and region 2. Region 1, region 2 actually, region 1 to region 6 are from United States, from East Coast to West Coast. So region 1, region 2, they're going to combine to region 2. So maybe in 2 years, you will not see region 1. They're going to start with region 2 to region 11. That's due to the demographic change, growth. So anyway, so just give you the number, just roughly number. And in terms of members, ICIR members is approaching to 500,000. So I think by last June, so it's still growing. So like the societies and the councils are under technical activity board, but also we talk about regions, divisions. They also have member and geographic units. So for example, we may have Portugal local section, and under section we have chapters. So here again, just like Nuno mentioned, I encourage students, professors, to encourage your students to, you can establish a student branch. With student to establish a new student branch, I think you only need like 6 students. So you can have your student branch focus on any society. For example, IB society, you have student branch president, vice president, treasurer, you have all the officers. So you need to, I think that's a good opportunity to obtain some leadership like a role and a lot of opportunities. In addition to that, our society also have a lot of awards, because this is my last year serve as the president. Next year I will be the junior past president. I will chair the nomination and appointment committee. So as Nuno mentioned, we constantly look for new volunteers. If you are interested in reliability, feel free to contact me. And we have students awards, outstanding service award, lifetime achievement award. And usually if you start a new student chapter, I will try to make you to get to win some awards, like an outstanding student achievement award, because that's one way to recognize or appreciate your leadership to help with ICIR. So So here's a little history about ICIR Reliability Society. Actually, this year we just celebrated our 75th anniversary. So Reliability Society is one of the older societies under ICIR. So we started from 1949 with a professional group on quality control, and then I don't want to read through the slides. And in 1979, the name formally changed to ICIR Reliability Society. So we have been here for a long time. So basically, any system, software, hardware system, we need to make sure it's reliable, secure, with high integrity, trustworthiness, right? So if you want to improve the performance, reliability, integrity, trust of any system, you need to care about reliability. That's why reliability is a specialty engineering domain, and we constantly looking for collaborations, and we also have our own publications, conference, standards, and digital library, and also technical committees. So if you go to our website, rs.icib.org, you will see all those major categories. Here I don't want to elaborate, but our website is rs.icib.org, so you can just go there and take a look. And here are some of the topics we cover: reliability, maintainability. When we talk about reliability, we talk about failure, system failure, software failure. Sometimes you see 401 error on your website, that's software failure. So how are we going to do maintenance? How are we going to restore the system to full reliability? So power system, communication system, whatever hardware, software, we do care about reliability and integrity and privacy, trust, all those topics. So just want to share one slide with my personal experience. So when I first started my work after my PhD from US, I worked with Caterpillar, that's a manufacturer for heavy duty equipment like a bulldozer or those construction machines. So I realized there was a Chicago local section chapter is not active. So I just activated that chapter and served as the chapter chair. And then later on, I was recruited, just like a similar event, to join the ADCOM, so administration committee. And then later on, I served a few more terms and started with EXCOM, executive committee. I worked as a treasurer and also VP publications. And then I ran for president, and this is my last year because we can run 2 more times and consecutive maximum 3 years. So next year we have the president-elect, Jason Wu from Cable Labs in the US. So, but you can reach out to me anything if you want to contribute or collaborate. Welcome to contact me so I can get you started. So, yeah. So this is my strategic plan for the 3 years from 2022 to 2024. So basically, we, as all societies or councils, we try to expand our publication, conference, all those different products, and also I always try to engage members and provide more values for our members and also recognize members. So I do care about all the awards. I activate a lot of awards because now actually is in very good financial status. Actually have a good reserve. So really look for volunteers, leaders, so to join all the society sponsors. So here are a little bit like a summary. So again, we have rs.icib.org and also we have resource center. If you want to learn a little bit more about reliability, just go to resource center at rs.icib.org and you can know all the topics what reliability society is doing. So here is my contact. So, and also we have a chapter coordinator. So if you want to establish a new student chapter or even local professional chapter, feel free to reach out to me and I will connect you to Loretta. She was our past president, and Janet, she's our VP membership, and she will be our VP publications, and we have a new VP membership. But I will contact you to anyone if you want to get involved. So I think that's all what I have. Thank you so much, and feel free to chat with me after during the conference time, and yeah, I can introduce whatever I have. Okay, thank you very much.
I don't know if you have any
great question to our invitees, speakers. If not, you will have time to discuss with them during the coffee break. Okay, so we will have to make this short coffee break because we will restart at 10:30. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah, maybe we can get some rocks.
So it's a coffee break.
Civil societies, some say that is actually we're supposed to not just others, maybe in life problems, right? Students to meet the resource. I mean, we have
Precies.
Okay, so that's the next step
So many talents
Maybe it's
what is not
we have many more. 6 times.
Where you put the names?
find it.
Okay, I've got it.
They're wrong
You know, like, you need to put the name.
of the chair.
Yeah.
Call Bruno quickly. He's in there.
usually encourage most students, your students, your audience. Thank you.
It's
the session on time.
I will try. When the presentation is back, there will be as short as possible to save time.
You don't have to shut me up because of the others.
Yeah, but I need the first one, so I cannot show it later. Probably.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
because I don't have the English, so I can punish.
you can punish everybody.
No.
Not only selected people.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. For me.
You'll stay here?
Yeah.
Okay. So you keep an eye on the room.
Okay.
You'll be the guardian.
the presentation.
Oh, okay, in Google, right? Google Forms? Okay, okay, cool, cool.
Yes.
Your name is not here.
No, questo non va in
You need to put your name.
You have the list?
Yes.
No, don't worry.
No, do you know the name of the owner is not here.
We only did for these
Okay, these
the opening session. Because
okay.
these were not made by us.
Okay.
So this will stay down.
All right.
Okay. As yesterday, we also did not. Where's the box? Thank you. Mohammed, you need anything to eat? Yeah. I'm going outside for some to drink. Okay. But I'm here. I'm over here at the outside of the. Okay, excellent.
sake of stuff. It's like time reading. Quali sono le sue intenzioni? Sono ascoltare la e allora c'è una cosa che c'è
Okay. We will start a bit earlier, save some time. This is the oral session 3 and, on cultural heritage, teaching and communication in immersive environments. The session chairs will be Alessandro Visconti and Antonio Marini Hernandez. I leave the floor to them.
Yes, okay. So let's begin asking if Anton is here. He's going to present the third paper. Anton Alavares Poncela. No, he's not here. Anton?
Yes.
Okay. No. And Leonel Morgano. Is here? No, it's not. Maybe we'll come. Okay, well, it's a first. So the first presentation of today is Digital Reconstruction and Storytelling Exploring Funerary Artifacts from an Era in Immersive Virtual Reality, presented by Davide Calabria. So, please.
Okay, hello everyone. You may already know me, and I'm Davide Calabria, and I will be presented now. I'm a junior assistant professor from Politecnico di Torino, the Department of Quantum and Computer Engineering, and I will present this study, which is a result of a multidisciplinary collaboration with our department and the Department of Architecture and Design, same Politecnico, and also with the MAO, which is the Arts and Art Museum in Italian Museo d'Arte Orientale, which collaborated with the study. Okay. So, in recent years, cultural heritage preservation has undergone a significant transformation in many other areas, and in particular, our archaeological sites and artifacts can be preserved and experienced by users, museum users, for example. And advancements in technologies like photogrammetry, laser scanning, and 3D modeling have to reach a level where we can reconstruct in highly details the artifacts, also sites, and remarkably accuracy. Then the rise of immersive technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality have allowed the possibility to create interactive experience using these contents, so where the user can interact with those virtual experiences in a more engaging ways, and this can be used as base to create the so-called virtual exhibitions, exploiting the functionalities of these transformative technologies. A pioneering study in this field was the one, for example, performed by Brun et al. Around 2010, where they proposed a methodology for creating replicas of archaeological sites using 3D scanners and high-definition cameras. It was the first step of this evolution, and then other studies, like the one of De Valio et al., later enhanced this concept by adding the concept of point of interest, so specific points inside the reconstructed environment that can be used to guide the user inside the archaeological reconstruction, and also to add cultural contents specific to these points in form of textual information, audio and video. Later, other studies tried to introduce the concept of storytelling to enhance the user engagement in this kind of experiences, like the one from here that was done by some co-authors of this paper in the study Cagliari et al. That used storytelling to improve the compression of the cultural contents. So this study combines this aspects of digital reconstruction, cultural storytelling, and immersive VR to create an innovative virtual exhibition of the Han Era artifacts and architecture. So, Han Era refers to the dynasties in China. It was around 2 centuries before Christ up to 2 centuries after, and is considered a sort of classical age for China. And it was the result of a collaboration with the Art Museum, as I said, that provided material, information, and support. We created a reconstruction of an archaeological site, and also 12 fun area artifacts are physically present at the museum in this moment, using techniques like photogrammetry and 3D modeling. Then the content created in collaboration with them were used to create a virtual tour in immersive virtual reality based on the concept of point of interest to enhance the understanding of the archaeological sites, and also storytelling to display detailed information, cultural information in correspondence of point of interest and artifacts with the increased engagement to storytelling. So for the digitalization of the artifacts, a photogrammetry survey was employed, so using a controlled environment with softbox and lamps to have adequate illumination, and were captured photos with 80% overlapping to ensure a reliable reconstruction. Then there was a conversion to a point cloud that had to be using Agisoft data shape to be cleaned and refined to obtain the 3D meshes. And in parallel, also the creation of the textures from the acquired images by aligning them using common features, using Adobe, and then also refining with Adobe Substance Painter. The result has been then optimized for the use with real-time interactive applications. So they've undergone a pass of baking of the high-performance textures for the efficient rendering, and retopology pass that was done in Blender to simplify the geometry and make it compatible with hardware selected. For the tomb, material was retrieved from the Mao archives and also from other archaeological sources and websites, and it was created in form of a low poly geometry in Blender, and then just for the more interesting or detailed part, it was the high resolution version of these parts were done by sculpting using NanoSculpt, like for example the Gate of Paradise, which is one of the details of the Han Era tomb. And these contents were then used to create the immersive virtual reality tool. So it was developed in Unity with the Vita Quest 2 as a target device to maintain its accessibility and let's say broaden the target audience. As movement, as let's say metaphor for movement, it was decided to rely with the smooth continuous locomotion, even if it's not the most comfortable one, because it was decided to keep a more realistic way to navigate the site, even if the user is still, but is still less immersion breaking than, for example, teleporting. So it was a compromise between realism, immersion, and comfort. And also textual and visual tutorial were provided to instruct the user on how to use the application and the interaction metaphors. The tool, as I said, was took advantage of the point of interest concept. It was subdivided in different point of interests, each with a contextual balloon that could be used to display additional information, and also to support the storytelling, so to keep the user engaged in the flow of the narration, using traditional both interaction. So, for example, you can for example, for the funerary artifacts, they were made interactive via controllers, so they could be grabbed from the position, manipulated, and also resized to allow for a detailed view of the geometrical details that were the most high resolution part of the experience, and also to display the contextual cultural content on the artifacts. Also, other elements like the doors can be interactive with tenants, so you can have a short video of the experience without audio, so unfortunately. And unfortunately, it's all in, it's not all, but mostly in Italian, because it's a first version, but it will be translated in English when it will be put inside the museum. And we can see the starting tutorial, the first interaction with the components of the tomb, and then if we go on, let's see, on the interaction with one of the artifacts as well. 4 jars and 8 statues with horse and horsemen. That's one of them. Okay. So, in conclusion, this study highlighted the potential of digital reconstruction in preserving and enhancing the accessibility of an-era archaeological sites, and also demonstrate that photogrammetry techniques and 3D modeling enable the accurate recreation of artifacts of a tomb, and also the created content can be used to support the creation of interactive application based on storytelling to showcase key elements of the Han art through immersive technologies. And it also emphasizes the role of multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary collaboration in advancing these fields of digital archaeology and interactive museology, because this kind of experience cannot be developed without the help of experts in the field and material from existing museums that want to use the concept of new museology, so trying to integrate new technologies to support the existing cultural heritage techniques without replacing them, so as a complement to real, for example, exposures, and eventually to substitute when the artifacts are not anymore available. We have seen something similar with the Cryptoporticus, and you know that when we went there, we were not allowed to go where we want or to touch what we want. With the digital reconstruction, we can do this stuff, and also in collaboration with these, let's say, museums and around them. Thank you. More on the historical part, I suggest you to reach out us by mail, because I'm more on the IT part of this project. So, on the hand dynasty, for example, I may not respond in the best way. Thank you.
Okay. Some question?
I have a question for you, Davide. So, we plan to analyze, for example, the ability of the system or something like that.
Yes, even before that, we plan to try alternatives to the interaction techniques and locomotion first, and then maybe we do a blood test to see which is the best configuration from the particular use case, because you have to keep in mind both the need of the users, so coming to the museum, but also of the museums that want, let's say, the experience in a particular way to be fitting with the narrative also on the real part of the museum. So we have constraints on both sides, which is different when you usually only care about end users. Okay.
Thank you.
The next paper is MetaMate, a virtual reality escape room for the study of integrals, presented by Alessandro Visconti.
So, good morning everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Alessandro Visconti, and today I'm excited to present our research on how virtual reality can transform the way we teach mathematics, specifically integrals. The research is part of an effort to make maths learning more engaging, interactive, and effective for high students. Over the next 15 minutes, we explore the educational challenge that inspired this work, how we design a VR escape room for teaching integrals, and the result of this study with, of course, the student. By the end, I hope you will see how VR can be a game changer for education. So, mathematics is a subject that many students struggle with. In particular, concepts like integrals are often abstract, making it hard for students to connect theory with real-world applications. This is connected to frustration, anxiety, and even a fear of maths. And at the same time, research show the engagement is key to effective learning. So when students enjoy the process, they are more likely to progress and succeed. This is where VR come in, and by offering immersive interactive environments, VR has the potential to make abstract concepts tangible and learning experience more engaging. Therefore, in this work, we combined the VR and math gamification to create a fun and educational experience for students. Over the years, technology can enhance traditional education by providing advanced tools for instructional delivery, such as a system for assessing learning activity. And a particular rising area is, of course, STEM education, where technologies like virtual reality have shown remarkable benefits, especially in mathematics and geometry. VR improves the visualization of the abstract concepts, foster engagement, and boost learning outcomes. For example, VR applications have proven effective for teaching 3D mathematical concepts like volume calculation, leading to better performance and motivation compared to traditional methods in school. Studies also highlight that VR plus desktop-based tools in offering immersive interactive learning experience, as shown in activities like calculating space curve near a black hole. Moreover, integrating gamification with VR enhances engagement as gameplay elements tied to learning objectives can create enjoyable and effective educational experience. Building on this work proposed a VR escape room to help high school students to study integrals. The aim of this study started from the design of a VR application to teach integrals, focusing on both theoretical and practical aspects. Subsequently, we incorporated gamification, turning the learning process into a game-like experience that boosts problem solving and critical thinking. For incorporating gamification, the escape room format was chosen because it offered puzzles and challenges that simulate engagement and problem solving. And finally, we target high school students because often encounters integrals for the first time, and it is a pivotal stage where a strong foundation can lead to long-term success in STEM fields. Escape rooms have gained immense popularity in recent years, of course, but both as the activities and the integration tools are useful in this type of escape room. The idea is, of course, the escape room pretty simple. Players solve a series of puzzles to escape out of the room, and this format works well for educational because the puzzle can design to reinforce specific learning objectives. In particular, in our VR escape room, students encounter challenges related to integral calculus, and these challenges require logical things, manipulation of mathematical concepts, and problem-solving skills. Some challenges follow a sequence, while others can be solved in any order, allowing flexibility and exploration. To enhance the experience, we added a narrative, and the story follows a student in a strange dream world. And this narrative ties the puzzles together and provide a sense of purpose, keeping the student. The VR application was developed using a Unity engine for meta-based headset, offering a standalone VR experience that is both accessible and user-friendly for students. The VR escape room is divided into 3 stages, and it begins with a tutorial set in the student's bedroom, an environment designed to teach the VR mechanics implemented in the application, and this space then transitions into a dream-like version, creating a sense of mystery. The experience progresses with meta-based puzzles simply integrated into the storyline, leading to the final stage aboard a storm-tossed ship, where students must solve the ultimate challenge to escape. So, in order to finish the experience, players need to solve a total of 7 challenges. The first 4 challenges focus on undefined integrals and are located in the second step. In the second step of the experience, so the dream-like region. The other 3 focus on definite integrals and solid of revolutions and are located in the third step, so the shift. Gamification plays a key role in our design. Each puzzle is interactive, giving students immediate feedback when they make a mistake or solve a problem. This feedback is essential for reinforcing learning and keeping students engaged. Narrative adds an emotional layer to the experience, and students feel a sense of urgency as they try to escape a storm-tossed ship, adding tension and motivation. Guiding voice acts as a virtual mentors, offering and encouragement when students are stuck. The escape room was designed as a teaching and evaluation tool for for integral calculation, and the evaluation mode was implemented to track completion time and mistake, enabling the assessment of student performance and identification the areas of difficulty. Additionally, the experience includes a customizable challenges supported by a data set on the site, and this feature allows the modification of functions, parameters, and solutions, ensuring the activity remains usable and encourages also the non-memorization of the exercise. So, 2 experiments were conducted to assess the VR system. The first was a pilot study and to evaluate the system usability and obtain feedback for improvement. While the second study focused on evaluating usability, quality, and learning outcomes associated with the experience. The pilot study involved 12 participants, and all researchers with prior experience in immersive technology. The second study included 9 high school students, and so in the pilot study, participants experienced the VR escape room and completed the system usability scale, so SUS question, which measured the usability of the application. Instead, in the second study, before using the VR system, participants took a test on integral designed like a traditional in-class test. After completing the test, they used the VR escape room, and their performance was assessed through the evaluation tracking the task completion. After the VR experience, participants fill out a questionnaire, which included the SUS and a subset of attractive questionnaires evaluating the attractiveness and the tonic quality of the learning experience. These two studies provide valuable insights into the system usability, user experience, and its efficacy and integration tool for learning integrals. So the pilot study revealed the overall positive feedback for the developed application with a usability score of 86.67 on the SUS questionnaire. Based on these, minor adjustments were made to improve user experience, particularly in the interaction with the locomotion interface. And the second study, the SUS score remained high, showing no significant difference from the pilot study. The alternative questionnaire also indicated positive evaluation across all categories, containing all items below 2, corresponding to a positive evaluation for the considered categories. When comparing the objective measures to evaluate the model which assesses the task completion within specific criteria, showed a significant higher performance score than the test. In conclusion, our work demonstrated the potential of combining technology and gamification to transform math education. The results show that students not only improve their understanding of integrals but also enjoy the process, and of course is a rare combination in traditional math institutions. So about the strength of the approach, it brings together education, gamification, and cutting-edge technology in a way that aligns with modern teaching needs. The VR escape room is not just a game, it's carefully designed to meet specific learning objectives for integrals. And second, the experience encourages exploration and problem solving. When the results are promising, our study does have some limitation. First, the sample size was relatively small, with only 9 students participating in the user study. This limited the generalization of our findings, so the trends we observe are a solid starting point for the further research. Second, the scope of the application was limited to one mathematical topic, integrals, while this focus allowed us to refine and experience future works to expand other areas of maths or STEM education. Finally, the requirement for VRS pose a barrier to accessibility, and while VR technology become more affordable, is not yet universally available in school. So our next step involves expanding the scope of the work. First, we aim to develop the application for other topics behind integrals, such as derivatives, geometric visualization, and even concept in physics. By advancing the range of topics, we can reach more students and address a wider array of learners. And second, adding multiplayer functionality is a key goal. And imagine students work together to solve a puzzle, discuss strategy, and share insights all within the VR environment is a good choice. And this would enhance not only their understanding of math, but also their collaboration and communication in work. Finally, we want to investigate the long-term impact of this approach. So thank you very much for your attention, and of course I'm here for your questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Alessandro. We have time for one question. Anyone have a question?
We are from the same university, so I know Alessandro, but I'd like to know, I think that this matter, you devised a system for teaching kind of theoretical content, let's say. And I'm wondering if you feel, but you transformed this theoretical content, you apply VR to exercises. Do you think that VR can be helpful also to teach this content before moving to the exercises? So to learn not just how to solve these problems, but also to learn the theory.
Yeah, of course. There are a lot of studies on that, a lot of studies that to maybe explain some presentation or remote model, some subject in a remote model, and of course we have a lot of opportunity and possibility to improve the teach of a subject. So, in particular, in our work, integrals are difficult to explain because they are abstract, and we create a practical experience, and a lot of other subjects we can translate can transform the theoretical model in a practical model. So that's the idea.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. So now next presentation. So presented by Anton Valaderas from Sela. That's correct. Okay. Breaking barriers for minority languages, development and evaluation of the first Galician on-device ICIR model for metaverse application. So you can start.
So, good morning everyone. My name is Anton, and I'm going to be presenting on behalf of Paula Fra and El Fernandez, my co-authors. First of all, I'm going to do a brief introduction to the subject, and then I'm going to be introducing how we develop what models we use, the hardware and software stack, and the optimization processes that we carried out. And lastly, I'll be talking about the metrics and the results that we are obtaining with the metrics. So first of all, as many of you already probably know, the metaverse is a loose term which describes how the virtuality and the reality interact and overlap with each other. It can happen on a whole range of the continuum that you can see on the graphic to the right. It can be a small amount of virtual objects positioned over the reality as it happens with AR, or it can be a completely virtual experience as it happens with VR. The problem with these interaction paradigms is that a lot of the time they have a steep learning curve for new users that have not used any of those technologies before. So a way that we can make easier the introduction for these users to these new paradigms is by introducing an interaction paradigm that's already known for these users, which is the voice commands that can be used to interact with the application with the need to understand how the gestures work in each of the VR and SR devices. This can be done by a range of models that are called automated speech recognition models. These models allow us to transcribe the user's voice and then execute the relevant application functions inside the application. In this case, for on-device ASR models, the most key aspect is low latency, since most of these devices do not have an extensive computational power, so it makes it harder to achieve responses in a quick manner. For our research, we use the Microsoft HoloLens 2, which you can see to the right. They are an XR device that was released in 2019. The most important key aspect for this XR research is that they have a microphone array of 5 microphones, which you can see to the right. There are 2 downward-facing microphones just on the underside of the visor, which point directly to the user's mouth. They can use beamforming to capture the user's voice very clearly, and there are 3 upward-facing microphones which are usually used to capture the ambient noise and then cancel it out from the whole recording. So, The biggest problems when developing ASR models is that to train these models you usually need an extensive dataset, that is audio clips that have been labeled previously. And the problem with developing ASR models for a low resource language like Galician is that these extensive datasets do not exist or are very lacking in quality or quantity of the samples. As I already said, latency is a key constraint as in every ASR model, because we need a response in order for the user to see the function being executed inside the application. Most current metaverse solutions for ASR control inside applications rely exclusively on external processing of the user's voice. So the user's voice is sent to an online service. It may be Azure or Amazon Cloud, and then processed there, and the result is returned via the internet to the device. What we're trying to achieve with this work is an implementation of a totally on-device ASR model and pipeline for Galician transcription. It must be fully on device. It must not rely on any external processing, not on edge computing, or not on any type of cloud service. It must support Galician, which is a low resource language, as it's spoken by less than 3 million people in the northwest of Spain. And of course, it must retain reliable accuracy, as we need to distinguish one command from the other when trying to execute a relevant function coming from the transcription of the model. We also need to optimize the use of the computational resources, as the ASR model is not the main objective of the applications. It's a helpful addition that is to be added onto existing applications, so it must not cause any stutters or lag when the model is processing the user's voice. As a quick note on the state of the art, most of the progress and cutting-edge technologies and state-of-the-art models are usually applied first to large datasets and languages like English, Spanish, or Mandarin. So low-resource languages usually face challenges in integrating these types of technologies. For example, most metaverse applications and headsets rely on cloud services. For example, the ones that we use in the series of devices rely on Azure Speech services, which is not on Azure AI Speech. The Meta devices depend on Meta voice dictation, and most Android XR devices depend on Google Speech to Text. So for this development, we use the WAF2Rec 2.0 model, which is a model that uses self-supervised learning from unlabeled audio to do most of the pre-training, from which it extracts acoustic patterns, and which enables us to then carry on what's called as transfer learning, which allows us to use small labeled datasets in these low resource languages, which sometimes only have at most 200, 300, 500 samples. And it allows us to adapt that pre-trained model to that low resource language with a very small amount of samples. As I already said, our key focus here is to ensure the compatibility to deploy a totally on-device on Windows ARM64 architecture, which is the one used by the HoloLens 2. Also to minimize the resource consumption as much as possible and to achieve real-time inaccurate transcriptions. Just as a quick note on the hardware constraints, the HoloLens 2 devices feature Snapdragon 850 SoC, which is based on the 845 smartphone SoC that was released about 6 years ago. It's not a very powerful processor. Most of the recent Meta devices are way more powerful than this one. It features an Adreno 630 GPU and 4 GB of RAM, but we have to take into account that since it uses Windows or browser as the operating system, about half of the memory is already not available because it's taken out of the operating system. Our software stack is comprised of PyTorch for model manipulation, training, and fine-tuning, also to export it into standard formats such as Onyx. We also use Onyx runtime inside the HoloLens device to deploy that Onyx model on an ARM64 runtime. We used Optimum for hardware-aware quantization to achieve as good a performance and latency as we could. And lastly, to decode the output of the model, which is CTC encoded, we use the C++ beam search decoder that uses greedy decoding to decode. It does not use any kind of language model or any heuristic in the decoding process. We apply dynamic quantization, so the model weights were converted from 32-bit floating points to 8-bit integers. We also apply per channel quantization in order to limit the possible errors that were introduced by the quantization process in order to achieve a little bit more accuracy, even if the latency could be a bit lower if we didn't apply per channel quantization. And we also use the Onyx runtime that we deploy the model into to apply the highest level of graph optimization techniques that we could, which simplify the computational graph of the model by applying operations such as constant faulting or radial fusion. So for our experiments, as I already said, we use really decoding in the decoding process, so the only model involved is the ICIR model. There is no language model that aids in the decoding process. There are three key metrics: the word error rate, the character error rate, which you can see in the equation in the bottom right corner, and the latency. In this case, for the accuracy measure, we are going to focus mainly on the character error rate, since our dataset mainly uses very short voice commands, like we would in a home automation context, so at most they have 6 or 7 words. If we had used the word error rate, it tends to exaggerate the amount of error if the character errors are spread in between each of the words equally. So you would have, like, if you have a sample with 5 words and there are 5 character errors that are spread between the 5 words, you have a word error rate of 100%, even though you can recognize the transcription and the command. That's why we focus mainly on character error rate. So the dataset that we use for the benchmarking process is comprised of 60 audio samples of 30 different IoT and home automation short voice commands. They were recorded once with a single voice and once with a male voice to avoid any gender imbalance. And it was carried out in a single pass manner so as to not aid the model by showing it the same sample more than once. As you can see in the graph to the right, we have in red the unoptimized model, which is the starting point that we used for this development. It has a reasonable starting point in the HoloLens 2 device. It has a character error rate of 6.81% in average and an average latency of 4 seconds. And the model is pretty heavy at around 361 megabytes. After applying the optimization processes that I talked about before, we achieved a character error rate that's just a bit lower by about 1.7%, so it's more accurate than the unoptimized model. We reduced the latency by about 1 second to 2.98 seconds, and the model size was reduced by almost 70%, making it more lively than it was before. You can see the results of the optimized model in blue to the left of the graph. So as conclusions, we achieved a on-device execution of a on-device ICIR model for a low resource language that achieves very good accuracy, a low latency below the 3-second mark. We were able to reduce the model size a lot by almost 70%, which allows the model to run at the same time as the application is still being used by the user, so the user does not notice any lag or stutters while he uses the voice commands. And this set of tools is also reusable, and all the processes and optimization tasks that were carried out are also reusable in order for other low resource languages to be adapted into the ICIR space. As a last key point, the worst challenges that were faced are the data limitations of these languages. The smaller the languages, the bigger the data limitations are, because there are almost none audio samples that are labeled. And also, due to the computational restrictions of this device, we use 3D decoding, which is way faster. It takes about 80 to 90 milliseconds of only 2.98 seconds of the transcription latency. But if we had used an 11 to 8 decoding process, we would achieve a way higher accuracy figure, even though the latency would be way higher. I just want to thank Project Team for the funding, and thank you for your time. If you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Very nice presentation. So, are there any questions from the audience? Okay.
Very nice work. I think it's very valuable and helpful because we work on these kind of applications and having the possibility not to use an internet connection for these services. I'm wondering, now you're working with a small amount of words being recognized. So I'm wondering how much this system can scale up and become, let's say, more complex, depending on the memory and processing power available on the HoloLens 2. So how can you expect this tool to scale up and grow in terms of support for more words, complete sentences?
Well, we use the example of short voice commands. In this case, they were 5 seconds at most, and all of the voice commands are recorded. The problem with the deploying of the HoloLens 2 device is that even though it's a very useful device in ICIR, it's a very limited computationally speaking device because you barely have any memory to work with. Once you have the OS taking half the memory, then you have your application. Maybe you're showing a 3D model, so you barely have any extra memory to work with. So scaling it up to more bigger samples would just mean usually that you would take way more time, way more latency to transcribe, to the point that it doesn't make sense for the user to use that interaction paradigm instead of typing it via the keyboard if it's a transcription, because in that case it would probably be a speech-to-text transcription, not a voice command. So at that given point, probably the user, if he sees that the system is not capable of delivering a timely response, he would be using the keyboard instead of his voice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So next presentation, presented by Lionel Morgado. Okay. So asynchronous technology and an immersive learning use case described using a co-intelligent custom ChatGPT assistant.
Okay, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for hosting us. So this has been a very nice piece of work that I've done in cooperation with my colleague Vlasis Kasapakis from the University of the Aegean. I personally am from the Open Portuguese University, from the Coimbra delegation right here. And so what I'm going to show is possibly a little bit different from most presentations in its goals. So I will tell you about the big problems in getting the results that you can trust in learning research, in immersive learning research. We will present you a method that was published earlier this year, and then how it can be used to make a case sheet. We have used custom GPT to support us, and so we also showed that some insights on the process. So let's talk about the background and why this is relevant. These are the two major problems in immersive learning research, and I dare say in most educational research. These were the tenets of my keynote on the Immersive Learning Research Network conference earlier in June. And so this basically, we can get outcome research easily, but the problem is that once you try to repeat that research over a long period of time, you start to have conflicting results. You have all results you want, better learning, worse learning. neutral learning. So things don't seem to match over time. This is a well-known problem in educational research and technology. And if we don't have strong grasp of what works and doesn't, it's extremely hard to make informed decisions. You're going by gut feeling. So what we really need, the big challenge in immersive learning, is trying to find ways to document the cases so that you can compare and contrast. You can compare results if you think they are quite identical, but you can contrast. This is extremely hard, okay? So, the first big problem here is novelty. If you bring a new technology or a new approach to a classroom, just the fact that it is new makes it engaging and entertaining and gets interest, and that gets an impact. But if you keep doing it, it's no longer new, and then the effect changes. The second impact is when you observe people, they also change. This has been known since the 19th century. People realized that if you turn the lights on, your work improves, so you can sell light bulbs. Actually, if you turn the lights down, work also improves. Actually, you can do anything you want with the light, as long as you measure people, their work improves. So this is a big problem, because you don't just compare. You can do, like our previous presenters did, like compare with and without to make sure it's engaging. And it's true, it is engaging, it works. The problem is, does it work in the long time? Does it work better than doing something else that is also engaging? And that's very hard to respond. So our contribution in the Immersive Learning Research Network has been to try and tackle this with some structure in the way you describe stuff. So we adopted the immersion cube as a framework to describe the dimensions of immersion, of the phenomenon of immersion. And all of this is grounded in the papers there. You can actually download this presentation from SlideShare right now, because it is available on SlideShare already, so you can follow the links. So immersion as a phenomenon has been well grounded to depend on the system that makes you feel within something, but also on the narrative that gives interpretation, and the levels of agency, which is later called the plausibility illusion, okay? But then, for the educational practices and strategies, it's chaotic, it's crazy. So what we proposed was grounding in literature to look at the pedagogical activities and label them as mere uses, just static stuff you do without a clear logic, practices when you have a rationale, or strategies when they impact what is overall being done. And using that, we surveyed the literature and cataloged them into clusters of practices and strategies. It happened to look like a brain, so we called it the immersive learning brain. And this is a major review paper published this year that has already 80 citations in the year, and it's only December still. So this is the grounding of our contribution, which was to propose a method called the immersive learning case sheet. As you can see on the right, it's a method, not a template. Okay, so the goal is that you provide a structured approach to describe immersive learning cases that leverages these frameworks and makes them comparable and contrastable. There is a big ambition here for all these communities like this one, which is in medical research. If you consider medical journals, there's lots of case reports. Doctors realize the importance of saying, I found this disease or this situation in this patient. It exists. Report. I did this procedure in this way. Report. They do lots of case descriptions in medical practice. We have no such tradition. Our case descriptions or case publications in education and educational technology, they are stories, but they are very hard to understand. So what we do here is a method to do this. And in this paper, we apply the method to one case. So it intends to be a demonstration of how a case can be reported as having occurred, so you can apply it, compare it, etc. That was the main goal of the paper. However, Vlasis Kazabakis, my co-author, had never used the method. And so I thought, well, I can create a custom ChatGPT to help this process together with us. And so we actually created and used this GPT assistant, and we also reported in the paper what we learned by doing so, okay? So it's like a bonus reflection of the process. So what was the case? The case is a common situation. So in the Revealing project, in the Erasmus Plus project, we created 6 learning scenarios and simulations. So we created like underwater measuring of urchins in the future to teach about ocean acidification, art galleries, etc. And one of those was about ancient Greek technology. So you may have known the one on the left as the steam engine Heron. Its official name is the Aeolian sphere. It's basically what students would do is they would light a fire under the water tank, and then the steam would come out and the ball would rotate. This is a well-known gimmick or trick in Alexandria. And the other is basically a telegraph, a torch-based telegraph, where you would have a code table, and it was like a binary communication system. You just put torches up and down at specific locations in coordination, and from looking from castle to castle, you could actually communicate binary messages in a sort of ancient Greek-esque kind. So this is what students would do, is traditional immersive learning, traditional immersive simulation and practice. Now, how do you compare this in your situation with what we did? The teacher's approach can be completely different. And so your results are not comparable. So that's why we present the case sheet. So it's a method again, not a template. So in a case sheet you have a description. One of the things the method asks you to do is that as you write down, you need to tag specific practices and strategies from the framework. But it also says that if you do that, it must not be a matter of trust. That it must be possible to find in the text why that tag is there. So you have to revise your text to make sure it reflects what you're tagging. And that's a sustained improvement process, making sure that although it's free form text, you are using a structured approach to make sure things are clear. So you do include the pictures, you do include the text, but if it says something like, for instance, the first tag on the top in blue, which I don't know if you can read from there, it says instructional design. That sounds nice, but it must be grounded on something. So the black text says why you're putting the tag instructional design. It says, the learning experience is structured around 5 core activities. That's it. So this tells us 2 things. First, you can get this case into the tables and measuring category saying, I want to measure activities that use instructional design. It's got a tag. But also, you know why the tag is there. It's said in plain text. So you can actually look at all the activities that have the same tag and say, what's the reason? Which ones have a similar logic, which ones are different? It's not guesswork, it's there. So this is how the case sheet works. At the quantitative level, it then uses the immersion cube. So you have to judge how much it depends, how much it relies on each dimension of immersion until it stops being the same case. And so the method we follow lets us to classify it as 90% system immersion, 60% narrative immersion, 65% agency. How we did it, it's on the paper, so basically there's several judgment calls and evaluations to reach these goals, which they are not very precise, but they are better than nothing. We do have some grasp and criteria to do that. And that places our case in those coordinates in the immersion cube. This means we can measure its distance to well-known uses of immersive learning found in the literature that have been classified in the cube. And that tells us, for instance, that it's very close to logistic use or simulation use. It's not a surprise. It also tells us it's very different from emotional or cultural experiences, which might be surprising. What this tells us, for instance, is that if you want to, you are already simulating, but if you want to use it for logistics, it's very easy. And what would be logistics? Logistics is saying, I can plan my students to use them at any time, or more often than they would in the regular class, or with less. So I can look at ways to use the simulation to save resources or increase access. That's logistics. It's easy. What's green means it's easy to do. Emotional and cultural experiences, it's far away. Because if you check its location on the immersion cube, it requires a lot more narrative. And why is that? Because just by seeing the things happen, it doesn't give you the cultural experience that is Greek, what it's meaning. You would have to add a lot more contextual information and narrative so that you felt the cultural experience. That gives a lot more work. So this gives a guide to what you need or may not want to do. This is a map. So discussion about this. The case is reported as an example of the case-shaped method, and that was the main contribution. Discussion about how we use the system and what we learned. So first it prompted us to follow the method. Rather than follow a list of text, we were being prompted to proceed with the method. Then it helped us refine the descriptions. So you would present a description of the activity, it could highlight doubts, mistakes, confusion, alternative interpretations. And it could draw us to try to follow the frameworks. So it was basically a co-intelligent peer, someone that could draw your attention to process, to method, to alternative views, and to rules. Of course, it has limitations. So it is a co-intelligence, so it gives you this structured reflection, identification of gaps, opportunities. Again, it does deviate from terminology. It's not a large language model is not like a strict machine predictable outputs. It deviates. Of course, it hallucinates and can tell you that things happened that didn't. Of course, it's not a real expert, so it can make strong decisions. However, it does contribute in a very valuable manner because it does give you this necessary input in qualitative research, with these conflicting views, contradictory opinions, and confrontational perspectives. It does require, this is limitation, it does require a lot of co-regulation. That means you as a peer, you as a team, must take full responsibility to not just be swayed by what sounds good. It's really a bit like working with another human in the sense that you cannot trust that the human will be doing the right choices. That you can take value from a person that makes wrong choices. You can take value, and this is quite similar. So it's a very challenging co-regulation aspect, but very powerful. One way to think of this is on the bottom, is that you can think of this also like a shareable methodology. Rather than share a list of texts or instructions, you can say, my instructions are coded as a personal GPT. So if you try to work with this GPT, it will try to stick to my instructions. So you can read my instructions, but rather than just trust yourself completely, you can have like this extra guidance towards following instructions. So in short, and because my time is probably running out, so in terms, what does this open for future work? We need more application method across disciplines and more examples. We need to improve the system until we can open it for public use. Right now it helped us, but we have to keep making sure it follows what we want. Actually, tune it a little bit more and then release it to the public. And for the wider community, we need to develop research practices, considering that now we have an ecosystem of human and AI intelligence. So yes, it's co-intelligence, but if you consider that you can have multiple GPTs, people can have multiple GPTs themselves, everyone is interacting with everyone. So we actually have like a cognitive ecology or a cognitive ecosystem. I published this idea in that paper, and we don't really have methods to work in a cognitive ecosystem. We need to come up with those, okay? So thank you for this time, for your time.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So, any question from the audience? No one? Okay, I have just a curiosity. So, you use this model in which platform you use for this model? So, I see some image from, I think, via chat or something like that.
The 3D is VR chat.
Okay.
The custom GPT is from ChatGPT. So if you have the paid version, you can create your custom ChatGPT. It's a bit like a mini rag, because you can provide some documents with your data examples and structures and your custom instructions, and so it's a bit like a personal mini rag.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. For the last presentation, this section, presented by Antonio Marina Hernandez. So, recovering visual human's attention in human-robot interaction for a promoter service robot.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Antonio. I am professor of the University of Veracruz, and this work is a collaboration from the team of University of Veracruz in Mexico and the team here at the University of Coimbra, particularly ICIR. So this work okay. Thank you. So this talk is divided by 10 sections. First, an ability introduction, then some of the related work. I'm going to present the description of models that we have right and how the implementation of these projects have been done. So at the end, some demonstration of the operation of this robot and conclusion of future work, because we need to test this product or this project with real people. So the idea is to have these kind of robots serving for people. So at this moment we have a lot of robots doing some homeworks, for example, mopping, vacuum cleaner, or cleaning the pools or whatever. But there are no interaction with these robot humans, or a few. So the idea is to have service robots to produce some services to humans. And one of the most valuable service that can do a robot could be a promoter or a service robot. There are already some services like guide touring in museums and airports or train stations, but mostly for interact and promote services could be used this kind of robot. So the problems here is something related to what has been said on the previous talk. The robot or the technology must be not so interested or attractive, Because that's the case, the promotion is not being good enough. So we need to balance the attractiveness of the technology to do a very good service. But also, we need to consider the human factors and environment factors in order to have to promote services in a good way. So there are many works in this kind of problems. For example, the eye tracking has now been very useful for this kind of interaction. Also, for example, the same group has presented the attention model that is related with which is the time that people gaze to this, has a gaze in this interaction, in not only as a value of a binary value, 1 or 0. So it's a decay function, and this decay function is very useful when we interact with robots. And as a promoter robot has a lot of work studies have been done. There are some robots that dancing or play something, but what is more important here is that most of that cases do not engage people to the new product or services. The people remember the robot or their actions and not the service. So it's important to engage people with this kind of thing. So most of the works doesn't consider attention, doesn't consider neither recovery for attention, and then the robot required to consider this attention in order to recover the attention of the people and to sell the service of the robot. So in this work we have implemented a modular architecture to retain the human's attention during this interaction, and this approach combines a lot of works, so visual case estimation, head tracking, proxemics, and other stuffs. Path planning, obstacle avoidance, of course, and so on. This. Well, the main topic of this project is the attention model. That is, as I told you, a decay function. And when this decay function passes a given threshold, then the robot must react to attention from the users. So, first, the robot is in the given space, then detect people by shape, and then try to approach this person. We use, in this case, hawk image processing. Then we use the laser in order to locate the people. We use also an RGBD camera, but when the people is far, the RGBD camera is not so certain to get the position of the person. So we combine laser and RGBD. And then the robot approaches to the person until a given threshold, of course, considering the proxemics. Once the robot approaches the person, sees if the person is looking at him, and begins the promotion. So, in this case, we switch from human detection to face detection, and then in face detection, we try to estimate the gaze. When the gaze is looking at the robot, then it begins to talk and send the message. So when here, for example, is the people is engaged, and here is looking another kind of object or whatever. So most of the words at this moment only consider this part and try to evaluate is looking or not. No, we have a decay function, and this decay function will let the people do saccadic motions, because all we do. So when we interact, we are looking at different places, but it's not enough for saying that you are losing my attention. So we have a threshold, and this threshold, of course, depends on the culture. It's not the same threshold for everyone. So we have feed neural network in order to detect this case, and this is the awareness function, that is, as I told you, a gain function. So, when this function will meet the case, we consider that the people is not looking at the robot or paying attention in time, and then the robot must react. Depending on the robot can be doing motions, for example, balancing, or can be going forward and backward. Of course, for example, we have tested two kind of robots. One is the robot here. Maybe you have seen on the demonstration of the lab that is going forward and backward. And we have in Mexico another robot that is balancing. Why? Because we use in Mexico a Panther unit. So the Panther unit can track the people, then the robot can balance it, and not here. Because if the robot balances, lose the side of the wheel. So this is the modular architecture that we have proposed. We have speech synthesis. We have the head tracking for the Panther unit, the recovery behavior, position estimation, human detection, gaze detection, attention model, and other services that are not written by our team. Okay, the executive level has this architecture, so waits for human interaction. Once the human interaction is given, then it acts estimation the attention. If attention is not doing, then it makes some recovery estimation for behaviors to attract again people. So all the models in this work were written in rows 1, and we have used an operation map of 2D, whatever models. So this is an example for here. When someone is given attention and then looking at another place. So this is threshold. So when she is looking another position, the robot needs to attract attention. How? At this moment is doing some motions in order to attract attention. So this is the preliminary results. So I can put the video on here or you put. So detects people, then approach to the people. Consider proxemics, then is until a given distance in order to interact, and then once arrived, switch to face detection and tracking. Then the speech begins and estimate the case. This is all running on the robots, so we have saved this in another computer. So that's why it's not synchronized the images and all the computations but it's done in real time on the robot. So the attention levels and the robot begins to move on. Okay. Okay, so with this architecture we have that we propose, we are able to detect people, approach people, and then estimate the case. And then with the case, the attention of this person to the given by the robot. So there is a lot of models integrated on this robot: head tracking, human detection, position estimation, gaze estimation, and teleportation recovery. And we can do in different robots these tests because these are all written in ROS. So the future work of this is to test with people and validate if the message or service has been passed with this alternative to the people, and it doesn't remember only the robot, if not the product or the service that we want to promote. So this is more or less the work, and of course we are going to include some other behaviors, like only to switch lights, or maybe to tell something like the robot that Andrei showed you on the previous demos. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the audience? No? Okay, just a curiosity for yes. Okay, one question.
I know you used neural network to try to address cultural behaviors, but how do you decide that there is a common culture in your training users for that?
Well, we need to adapt that, right? We know that from different cultures we see differently when we interact. So we need to adapt to each culture. It's different, for example, from a German guy, a Portuguese guy, or a Mexican guy. Mexican guy look everywhere. And when we interact, for example, with other cultures, they think that we are not paying attention. So the threshold of this awareness should be adapted to each culture. And also for pass a message is very different for each culture too.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I will just quickly on the experimental evaluation. If you provide us more information about the experimental evaluation, so maybe with the user or somebody.
Well, we are at this moment waiting for the authorization for doing experiments with people in environments, but we are going to evaluate all. So the feasibility, the look of the robot, and of course if the message has passed or not.
Yeah, of course.
But it's more important.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you also for the presenters, session chair, at the same time. We have been very quick, probably because we are fear of the previous sessions, but that's okay. So if we have more questions, we can respond. We have still 10 minutes, I suppose, before the lunch, or we can go and talk together while waiting for meeting. Thank you everyone for the public also, and from home, and someone maybe is looking at us. Thank you. Antonio and Alessandro.
Please, manage your homes, so please volunteer.
Yeah, if someone is coming for the first session, we have a voting mechanism to vote for the best presentation, so use your telephone to frame the QR code and vote. Thank you.
Everything now.